Okay, this Breedlove is on the workbench and we're going to make it better because better is always better. What we're going to do is lower the action. The action's kind of stiff on this. I don't like stiff action and I cannot lie. And whoever dressed these frets, just listen to them. They're terrible. It's like somebody dressed them with 220, maybe 320, and then that's all they did. You could see. They're just like, I hope Breedlove didn't do that because that kind of sucks. That's terrible. But I don't know. I got it secondhand. The neck is really straight and it deserves a lot better fret dress than what it has on it. Also, these strings, I measured them. They're 12 to 57. They're way too stiff for my old hand. So I'm going to go with the same thing on my little Fender Acoustic 1047. And I'm going to put that on it. And it's going to be wonderful. So also, I'll be doing the nut on it after I get everything set up. I mean, acoustic is a lot more labor intensive. I mean, you got to like carefully measure the action. And then if you want to take some out, you can only take a little bit out at a time. And you got to keep taking the strings on and off. And this one doesn't have pins. So that will make that a little bit funner. Sarcasm. And on the small E string, there doesn't seem to be, well, I guess there's enough action there. We might have to, you see how the angle of the string coming off the saddle here? There's not that much of an angle. You need a good strong angle to get good sound. So what we might need to do is cut a little notch in here so the string, as the saddle goes down a little bit, the string will still have some good angle. You got to have good angle. Like look at this. That's a good angle. But just that E string seems to have the least angle of all. So in order to keep the tone going, we might have to put a little slot in here. So probably the first thing I'm going to do is take all the measurements. Here's something I don't like right off the bat. Look at the truss rod. It's already in there. Can you see it in there? It has to go in that far, this far, before it hits the truss rod adjustment. What kind of wacky setup is that? So you're going to need a special Allen. Well, with how hard this thing is to access, there's a tiny bit of relief in this neck. And I'm thinking when I loosen the strings, the neck might go hopefully totally dead straight. So I'm going to loosen off the tension and I'll use my straight edge to see what happens with the neck. Okay, fortunately for me, with the strings completely loosened, the neck is dead flat. So I don't have to mess with this crazy, hard to get to truss rod. I'm going to pull all the strings off and I'm going to dress these frets because whoever did this, they did not know what they were doing. So they're just scratchy. They're terrible. Who would do that? I mean, I could see if it was a really crappy, cheap guitar. I still wouldn't do it on a crappy, cheap guitar. I wouldn't do it. All right. Let's get these strings loosened and we'll see what's underneath. If there's any shims or anything underneath here. I'm thinking no. All right, I ordered a truss rod, an Allen that's about where the nut is that will come out. So it'll be a little bit of a pain while I'm doing the setup, but then I'll have it. A little stubborn. Now I'm going to take the action that I wrote down by the 12th fret and figure out how high I want my action. Then I'm going to sand the bottom of this as straight as I possibly can. But if I go too far, then I'm in trouble. So I got to really take it easy and think about how high I want the action. It's a little bit of thought process here. You could just wing it, but know that you're going to put it in and out a couple of times. Okay, so we see on the bass side at the 12th fret, this Breedlove is 79 thousandths, where my Fender acoustic is 46 thousandths. So I want to make it the same. So I got to take off 33 on the bass side, 33 thousandths. And on the treble, the Breedlove is 56, the Fender's 26. So I got to take off 20 thousandths. So I marked that as clear as I could. The bass side's on the right. And you can see it kind of tapers down a little bit. So I'll probably approach that line and then put it in and try it. See my line, here's the bass side. This is the glamorous side of guitar repair. The tedious. The if you go too much, if you get too greedy, you got to do it all over again. Or shim it, like cutting the nut. So I'm just going to approach the line, try to keep it as square as possible, then test it. Okay, to get the exact measurement, I would have to shave off all of my pencil totally, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick it in like that and see how it looks. Okay, here's the action. It's not as low as I want it to go, or as... But see, the thing is now, I can't really adjust the truss rod without taking all the strings off. So, you know, I've taken... Let me just put my finger on here. Here, watch this. I'll put my finger over here. I'm going to put it down here. Let's see if I can do all this. And I'm going to hold this finger down here and use my thumb. See, the neck, it's got a bit of a bow in it now. So when if I take a little bit of that relief out, it's going to pull the action lower. So I got to be careful here. And also, I notice I'm running out of space here. So I'm going to take the strings off. I'm going to pop this out. I'm going to take it down a little bit more, but not too much, because once I get the truss rod adjusted to where it's straight, the action will come down a little bit more, but this is way too high for me. So I got to take some more out, but I got to consider the relief it's going to have. It's going to have a tiny bit of relief, but not as much as it has now. Getting corn fusing? It is. Okay, we got the saddle cut down. Got a little bit of space there. And here's the action. I think I want to keep it here at the 12th fret. So, I mean, this is an acoustic, so. There's a couple little buzzing frets, so I'm going to chart them all out. I've got my little fretboard with 20 frets there. I'm going to chart anything out. If there's anything if there's any high frets, I'll find them with my rocker and I'll address them. Then I'm going to address these frets. I might crown them too. Look what somebody did. They just sanded them and left them. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at tension. The neck has got the exact amount of relief I like. So I'm going to play through the whole neck, look for any buzzing, mark it on here, and then I'll address it after I take the strings off, and then I will fix these horribly dressed frets. Here we go, one more time. And another thing to consider on an acoustic is, once the strings come off of the saddle, they need to have a little more downward pressure. Like this E string isn't nearly enough. You can see there's probably the D is the best and the G. The string, when it comes off of here, should be going like that. Shouldn't be going like that. So basically what I'm going to do is you open up a little slot to allow the string to have more of an angle like this instead of like that. So that's another fun thing with acoustics. Woohoo! So I'm going to give the strings a little more angle after the saddle. Oh, the joys of acoustics. And this is a common thing. This isn't just something I made up. Well, I did make it up, but then I discovered, yeah, it's a common thing years ago. Oh. That's why guitar techs like electrics, acoustics. There's all kinds of little goodies. So I'm just going to go along, do the rest. So remember that one fret that buzzed? I'm going to just do the frets up top here a little bit. All right, I went over the frets with 320. I'm going to hit it with my fret file. Here it is here. Okay, medium. Sure, I'm on the medium. Okay. So I'll show you what the frets are, what they're shaped like now. To clean out this file, I found just a little bit of steel wool. And the metal shavings that get sometimes stuck in there, they just come right out. Pretty simple. So now I'm going to go over every fret. This is a pretty smooth 320. I'm going to go 320, 4, 6, 8,000, 15, 2,000. Then I'll polish these frets. They'll be like butter. They'll be like butter, capiche? So here's, yeah, everybody's seen me do this before. There ain't no big secret. It ain't no big secret. I'm going to smooth all these out till they're super smooth. That little extra time makes all the difference. And this acoustic takes so much time anyway. You might as well do it right the first time. They really polish well when you work up. You don't just stop at 220. Like, I don't know what this was. It was, well, you heard how scratchy it was. It was terrible. It's not going to be scratchy ever again. Here we go. Okay, I went up to 2,000. So now we're going to polish these frets. Okay, we still have the nut to do, but obviously we got to string the guitar before we do that. Take a good look there. See my hand here? I want to get a few wraps on that thing. Come around, push over. These are some long strings, wow. And then the string can lock onto itself. Sometimes you gotta kind of hold it in position. Oh, hang on a second. All that action is low. Of course, we're gonna get more string tension on, but look at how low it is. You know it's going to be higher than that when all the string tension comes on. Exciting. All right, we're all strung up and we're in tune. Now we're going to stretch the strings. Don't leave that stuff hanging like that. Don't do that. Okay, I think that it could use a touch of relief. I mean a touch because it's almost completely dead straight. And here's our action. It's much better. I haven't measured it yet, but it's better. These are 10 to 47s, and I noticed, and I kind of figured, the 12 to 57s, the thing was so much louder. It was really booming with those strings. Now that's taken a lot of the bass out of it. But I mean, they're just too heavy for me. I'll probably adjust the truss rod tomorrow when my Allen comes, because I have to loosen all the strings and stick my arm in there. I don't want to go through that. I'll just wait till tomorrow because it plays really good. It doesn't really seem to buzz. So the last thing is I want to like cut this nut down just a little bit. And now I'm going to cut the nut. I'm really happy with the action, but the nut can go down quite a bit. So I'm going to take the nut down. Okay, it is all done. Here's our action. Here's our action at the old nut. Now the neck is almost dead straight. I'm going to put a little relief in it. So the nut will be just a tiny bit higher. I'm going to wait for tomorrow when the Allen comes in because I'm not going to stick my hand in there and try to, that's just too hard to do. But she's all done, plays really good. Took care of the one fret that was a little bit buzzy. And that's it. A lot of work doing an acoustic. Just not that easy. Okay, the Breedlove is done. The action is low. It plays really good. I think it needs to go to the strings it had. It had 1257. These are 1047. They're the strings that I have on this little guy here. This is an awesome playing guitar. It doesn't sound all that great, but anyway, that's what I put on there. I put 1047s on that. But this one needs a little heavier string than that. So I'll go 1152 or maybe just put the same size strings on it. Anyway, that's it for today. If you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. And I will see you next time. Take care. Peace out. Well, I might as well turn the camera off while my fingers are so close to it. Take care.